Who now? Damn.
Here it is.
Which three are his?
No idea.
Damn.
But there's some amazing machines. Every one of them is just crazy in the mix.
Yeah. Look at that AJS.
That's the Surtees special.
Oh, that one? AJS? Oh, right.
Yeah, they've got little ropes on this stuff.
Love that matchless.
Isn't that pretty? So look at 3 on the end, Dick Man's bike. It's probably the one that you want to be told of. I'd say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you got the both porcupines.
This is the porcupine?
Yeah, those two.
There's 2 of them. Lay down slow.
Yeah, so that one, that's the E90. This one was designed during World War II. All the guys were working for the War Department who had been in motorcycle engineering. They designed this to be supercharged, which is how BMW was winning the world championships before that. And then they banned supercharging after the war to keep the cost of racing down. So they went from this design, they ran 1 or 2 seasons, and then they switched to the sloper in an effort to, you know, get some more.
So it's not a full lay down?
Yeah, that one's not laid
Partial
down.
lay
Yeah.
down?
Yeah.
And this is, they didn't use streamlining, so they sort of went with this pannier tank as like a form of a fairing, and also so they could do the Isle of Man without refueling.
Right.
Yeah.
That would make the whole race.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's beautiful.
Plus it gives you a low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Having the gas all the way
I think
down.
I think that's by conventional wisdom that's too low, but
Oh, really?
yeah, like they experimented with that and then they ended up, you know, like having the weight up a little higher helps you turn in. If it's too low,
Okay.
the turn in isn't so great. But
All right.
they hadn't figured that out yet.
Mm.
Yeah.
So trial and error.
Yeah. And then this is Order. Ran a race, came in the UK. Peter Williams raced for Order. Mike Duff.
I'm at Peter Williams.
Yeah, so these are like frames designed. They actually, Order started with that bike over there, the Surtees Special, which he bought, and then they sort of copied the frame design on these. I think Mike Duff came in 3rd in the Canadian GP in 69, 68 on this. This is the Peter Williams bike, an evolution of that. It's got the Pannier tanks. His dad was the head designer for AMC, designed that. And so, same thing, he came in 2nd to Agostini at the TT, I think 71, on a G50.
Wow.
It was all multis and one G50.
They have wild front wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Like in a disc.
Yeah, that's like
Hidden
the early
inside.
Rickman disc. Dickman, TT bike, G50, and then it's 2 road racers.
Wow.
And he did so well on these that they banned.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Dick, but that's enough.
You're winning too much. We're going to ban you.
Yeah. And then it's Hal Rayborn's flat track bike.
So he was flat tracking a spring frame.
Yeah.
Wow. Almost looks like a desert bike with a
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one we built for a customer. It's a punched out to a 650 with an electric start. And then Rob bought it back from the guy because he just liked it too much up there.
Right, it's a beauty. Is that the seat that Karina did?
Yeah.
That's good. Must have been, was that like a custom made electric start, obviously?
I mean, I think that whole thing is like,
Custom in everywhere.
yeah, massaged
Yeah.
every place.
Because as far as I know, the only people mass producing any kind of electric starter are either for Norton's or A10s.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody else making it. They tried to get one for an A65 and they can't make it work for
But
some reason.
these, so like this is the CSR, which is like they made 12 of them to pass the homologation rule in the
Yeah.
US.
Wow.
So there's these two, and then there's three downstairs. So out of the 12, 5 of them are here.
Yeah, acrylic soaps on it too.
And he has. Cal Rabel's road race bike.
So they all have this same kidney bean
Yeah, it's to put your helmet on.
skip
yeah,
right
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Crazy. Harley Davidson's.
Mark Brailsford's leathers. And then, Agostini's.
I think this is where Rob told me
Yeah.
to do this.
What?
The hose clamps are on the bell mouth.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
you make them longer and get the hose clamps on the curb.
Yeah.
That bell mouth can fall off.
It's just pressed in.
Right?
This one's Goliath. So I think, yeah, there's a Vance Breeze. So, yeah, this is the 1300 XR. So they set some land speed records and raced it a bunch in Europe. That thing is a beast.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
And this is the sister bike to that Dick Man special downstairs. This is the 7R Dave race, like probably more than any of these other bikes.
That's a 350.
That's a 350.
Wow.
But this thing is super fast and well developed and got all the battle scars to show.
That's a crazy tank.
Again, it's got the long rope or knee pockets.
This is the one that kid, he had never ridden one of these before. We gave him 500 bent valve, and then it took this out and won 750, 500, and 350 on this.
Damn.
First time he'd ever ridden it.
That's the kid.
Yeah. 7Rs. That's Rob's first bike, first
Oh.
race bike.
Yeah.
That's him on the bike at Bridgehampton.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's great.
G50s. This is the G50 Dave won the 84 TT on.
Oh, that's the
That
one
one?
that went over there to
Yeah.
the Element.
Yeah.
That's a very famous bike.
So we took it over there for like the.
It's the piston.
Yeah.
You see, that's a.
That wasn't it, the TT.
It's an award Dave.
Oh,
Rob made for Dave.
Oh,
Look, congratulations for winning the 1984 historic TT. And this is one of the pistons he seized when in practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's wild.
So we took this back for it was like the 30th anniversary. We went over, we brought this over, we put fresh tires on it, like, went through the engine, just fresh fluids, set valve lash and stuff, but kept everything. So it still has the extra belt duct taped to the fairing,
Wow.
just in case you lose your belt
Yeah.
during the race.
Oh, like right out on the track, you can put it on yourself?
Yeah, as long
Go
as
figure.
as long as you can get the bike going again
Right.
without help.
So is
Right.
this an Isle of Man hotel?
Yeah, that was a hotel that sponsored them. So
Okay.
they stayed there and they had like little sheds out back and they'd work on the bike behind the sheds.
That's cool.
Yeah. This one, Bob Hansen, built and raced G50.
Feels like such a 50s paint job. Like, what year was he
Yeah.
racing?
That's way cool.
Yeah, I mean 60s, mid 60s, and then he switched to Hondas.
Mm.
He had the 450 Honda with one.
Oh, that's the same house?
Yeah, Bob Hansen, and then it's outside.
Right, right.
So it'd be hard to ask or pinpoint what his favorite make is of bikes. A lot of mattresses.
Well, Mattress and AJS are the same brand. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely, that's the device here. This one's the last engine they designed for AJS. The guy, Peter Williams' father, Jack Williams, designed an ultra short stroke.
Yeah, it's got a tiny engine, right?
Yeah. So this one hadn't been run since like 1990 or something, and I went through and redid everything. Took
Really?
to the track. Dave lapped the whole field.
Oh,
He was like,
my
I think it's
God.
going all right. But it was terrifying. Like he was going into corners, like he already had a quarter lap lead, and I hear him into like turn 3, and you can hear the brakes go. It's like fucking sick. I was like, what is he doing, man? And like, sure enough, he's still going hard. There's no one in front of him. And then he sees the back marker, and then he's like, I'm gonna get that guy, and then the next guy, and the next guy. And by the end of the race, he had lapped the whole field.
Passed them all.
Yeah.
Well, that's a racer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna spin the horses. Yeah, right.
This one, Roberto Bellino, who's Rob's friend in Italy. He used to run superbike teams and like world championship team for Suzuki. He,
That's a Suzuki?
yeah, so that's like a Gixxer base, but he had some Japanese industrialists with like super deep pockets went to him and said, I'd really love to take a, sort of a modern superbike and apply Italian styling to it and make like,
Right.
And so he made 12 of these at like some crazy cost, like, $6 million or something. Like prototypes. And the guy was supposed to go into production with it. Then I guess the Japanese economy tanked and he lost all his money and Galena never got paid. And so there were only, I think, 10 of them made. And a bunch of them were shipped to Japan and then not paid for, basically. So Galena like lost his shirt on it, and Rob heard about a few of them for auction from Japan, and he bought them, and he gave one to Roberto.
Oh, wow.
Because he was like, "This is your baby, you should have one."
Yeah.
Right.
And then this one's here, but it's like totally that '90s. Remember
Yeah,
that?
it looks like a Ducati.
Yeah.
Passo or
Remember
something.
like Performance Bike magazine? In the
Yeah.
90s? This is
Yeah.
like that exact
Yeah,
era.
yeah.
Like you get on it, it's like super long. It looks
Right.
like something out of an anime. But it's a Gixxer engine, but they recast all the cases and everything in magnesium and they converted it into a gear-driven cams. And it's got a dry clutch and flashlight
Like a
cars.
chain up in there?
Yeah.
That must have been an operation.
Yeah.
Were they built for racing or just for like?
Just to be
Normal.
the ultimate sort of, sport bike.
Yeah.
Gas cap photo way back here is weird.
And it's,
Yeah.
the gas tank's only this big. This is airbox.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
unique. And you got Aggo flags, that's a 350 triple, 504, 354. That's the last 4-stroke to win the Grand Prix in the classic
Is
era.
it
It was
all
like,
Aggo bikes?
yeah, so by, what was it, 76? Aggo was racing, had his own team.
yeah.
And he was racing the Yamahas, but I guess at Assen, it was super hot and all the 2-strokes were seizing, and he had this in the truck.
Wow.
And he rolled it out, and everyone's like, how are you gonna fucking compete on that old piece of
Right.
shit?
Yeah.
And he fucking smoked everybody.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's like the swan song for that bike.
So he was a rider.
Yeah. But we took that to the Isle of Man a couple of years ago, and he rode it around. And it was crazy because there's little dents and stuff in the tank, and you'd be like, oh, this happened, the chain came off at this race, and blah, blah, blah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so pretty neat.
He was parading it then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Signatures on the tank.
Yeah.
I've got 2 signatures. Look at that.
Autographs.
I think the other one might be one of the mechanics.
Mm.
Count Augusta.
But like this 350, just a testament to how well designed they are. We took that to Canada a couple years ago, and Dave holds the lap record there for 500 GP, 300, 350 GP. Like that's still standing lap records
Wow.
for those classes. And he took this out in practice, and he it doesn't count because it's in practice, but he beat his lap record by 3 seconds.
Oh man.
His lap record from 20 years ago.
Wow. And it's a 350.
That's a 350.
Wow.
And you didn't race it that day?
No, we just took it out to like give it a shakedown and sort of, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is the Surtees bike. So this is, John Surtees, the only person to ever win a world championship on 2 and 4 wheels.
Yep.
So this bike, he was racing for MV Agusta. He was the reigning world champion. He built this in the off season to race like short circuits, like non-world championship races. And Count Augusta heard about it and forbade him from racing it. He was like, "You can't race that bike. You're under contract with us."
Wow.
And he said, "Fuck you, I quit." Stopped racing motorcycles, sold this, and he went and started racing cars.
Wow.
So this is the bike. That's the reason he went to Formula One.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
What a move.
Yeah.
But I dare say if you knew how to drive a car, you probably made money doing that too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's like a Vesco 650 twin.
That's one of them beater bikes, right?
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
they
that's
made
just a 650.
5 of them for Daytona one year. They didn't do very well.
What, in the mid-60s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that thing's still got a BSA frame.
Yeah. I think maybe it's modified, or maybe it's made of thinner tubing or something. It's
Slightly modified.
yeah.
Yeah, the way
Absolutely
it's
right.
done with the lugs and everything, it looks like it's the BSA design. It's been made fancy.
Yeah, because I think
Racing
that
cars.
came out of their development department. When they were like seriously racing.
Right. See, this is what
The cutout
came
in
all
the
the way
tank.
up to see the A65.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take this one.
Yeah.
Sold. I love the cutout in the tank just to change the spark plugs.
The
Oh,
other
he
one's
does?
upstate that this guy
Yeah.
who's like the BSA guy is going through the bike.
Nice.
He was the guy that messed up his knob.
Maybe.
It was.
Yeah.
Rob had him on the phone. I was like, there's no last this one.
Yeah, that's the 71 Daytona winner, Dick Man Road.
Is this the one that won the race?
Yeah, that's the trophy right there.
Oh my God.
Wow. Got the bike and the trophy.
Can't see the trophy for the bikes.
Yeah.
That's a famous bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Rob would say this is one of the crown jewels,
Would have to be in terms
I
of.
went to the BSA rally in Petaluma, California in 2014,
Yeah.
and it was Dick Mann, Jim Rice, and Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
Each different nights gave
Yeah.
speeches, and Dick Mann talked about riding this and taking them right out of the crate and then running up and down the straight roads to practice,
Yeah.
and the police chasing them. And then they outran them, got all the way back to their shop, and then he had to hide, and then the police were like feeling bikes to see if they were hot, and they got away with it.
Yeah, I just was reading his autobiography. It's some really funny stuff. This one just came from South Africa. That's weird because it's a regular 7R engine in a triple knocker frame, which is that, and pan air tank and everything.
Yeah.
And the guy converted that to gear driven cam for some reason.
Well,
Just to make
Made
things
all the
extra
gears.
complicated.
yeah.
So that's interesting. But it came with like a bucket full of trophies and all these race programs and stuff. So that's pretty neat. This one, Rod Coleman 54 TT winner. That's the 3-valve 7R. So it's got a chain drive to the rocker box, cam box, and then it's got bevel driven 3 cams, 3 valves. Yeah.
Wow.
2 exhaust valves, 1 intake valve.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a piece of hardware.
Yeah. The head's like,
So is that a porcupine?
no. Just, but this was like a precursor to that, I guess. But, and then Bob Mack, who was the first guy to do a 100-mile-an-hour lap at the Isle of Man, he was, sort of a development engineer, tuner, and he had this guy Joe Potts in Scotland build this frame. And so this was like his lightweight and special. And we found this, or I found this in a basement in New Jersey.
Oh, this is the one that you found?
In pieces, and we sort of put it together and took it out to the track last year. Pretty neat.
That's a good looking bike.
They're still out there. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty handsome, you know, tidy.
is.
I have this exact same fairing, but I have no mounting hardware for it, so I was just looking at how it was mounted, and I don't even know what bike I would put it on, but I love the look of the fairing.
Yeah, so
Actually,
the
no,
guy
it's
who-
not exact, because I have a headlight dome on the front. The rest of it's the same.
Yeah, pretty neat. And that's this is a 51 Works bike. I think Bob Mack rode this one as well, but this would have been like an early version of like a team bike. You know, totally different sort of chassis and layout.
I love this stuff.
Wow, that's insane. Look how heavy that is.
And just the tank, I mean,
It's
it's
an
got
old
beautiful
machine.
lines.
It weighs
and-
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean heavy as in weight, I meant heavy as in thickness.
And this one,
Yeah.
Tom Arter, the guy who, you know, Surtees Special and all those other bikes and Peter Williams bikes. This was his personal bike when he was racing. I think this is pre-war. But he set the lap, when they were grass track racing, I think at Brooklands before they paved it. He set the lap record there and then they paved it, so it's like a forever standing lap
Wow.
record.
Wow.
And so
The
this is
engine
his-
on that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the early version of that.
What year do you think it is?
Oh, early 40s. Yeah. Yeah.
It isn't how much tank they were into back then.
Yeah.
Because the expense of making all this overhead cam stuff is enormous.
Yeah.
You know, compared to push rods,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
they had in every car. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then this is the Maurice Candy Special. So this guy, he raced the TT from 63 to 73. Sidecars, all with engines he designed and built himself.
Wow.
So this is a 500 twin, dual overhead cam, 8-valve engine that he designed and built himself.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, made everything, right? Made the castings.
Yeah, all the castings, everything, the bevel gears inside. Yeah. And so Randy Hoffman raced this last season. And Rob heard about what happened to Randy with his spinal injury, and they were chatting on the phone. He's like, I heard about this racing sidecar. So Rob bought it and put Randy on it, and they raced it.
Nice.
And, you know, it took us all season to sort of get it sorted. We didn't get any notes or
Yeah.
manuals or anything with it, so it was sort of take the engine apart, measure everything, put it back together, start fiddling and
Right.
fucking around. And,
Pretty quick.
yeah, it's very quick when it's on, but you know, we're having problems with the fuel pump and the flows. So yes, so that's downstairs. And that was something I noticed, like first race we went to, like Randy, when he would get on the brakes, he'd fucking choke the carbs and the engine would start to sputter. So I took a Harley XR heat shield, which is shaped like that, made some standoffs, and it goes over it, and then the air's blowing right over the engine, and it keeps a little spot there.
Protection.
But what I'd like to do, and I think what he probably had when he was racing, is make a cowl that has some openings here, so
Right.
you get a little bit of airflow.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But that's something, you know, like hammer it out of aluminum. And, but yeah, it's loud as shit. It's fucking sounds super mean. Pretty cool.
Revs up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we don't even know what it can really do yet.
Is that a Greaves front end or?
No, it's, you know, custom. A lot of sidecars run the linkage front ends just so you can adjust the trail and everything. I think the frame, we thought the frame was a Sealy because Sealy was like, you know, a sidecar world champion making frames.
Right.
But then someone recently told me that Rob North made the frame. So still some history to learn on this.
No doubt.
Amazing.
And that's the MX bike in there. That's Big Man's G50 motocrosser that he built for the ISDT when the first year they did a vintage.
That was the first bike I noticed when I came in. I was like, I love that Marshalls. It makes sense now that it was Dick Mann's. I think I may have seen pictures of it.
Yeah, it's pretty tidy piece of kit. Yeah.
So there you have it, lad.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Collection.
Thank you for the tour.
All the leathers hanging up from all the racers.
Amazing.
Mike Halewood. Jesus.
Redmond.
Big names.
Yeah.